time for part 2 of my review of 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll put a link in the description. I highly recommend you watch that. In part 1, I talked about why I believe 2001: A Space Odyssey is the best movie ever made. And we went over the Dawn of Man and the Haywood-Floyd section. So, without further ado, let's jump in. The movie picks up in the Jupiter mission. On board the Discovery 1, there are 6 crew members, 5 of which are human and 3 of which are in hibernation. The ones not in hibernation are Dr. Frank Poole, Dr. Dave Bowman, and the computer HAL 9000, whose eye you can see right now. Of course, in this movie, this is a scientifically accurate science fiction movie. There are no magical gravity generators, so instead of using magical gravity generators, they use centrifugal force, I believe. The cinematography of the movie is just so beautiful. I wish I had stressed that in my first video. So they watched BBC 12, and on BBC 12 is an interview they did a few days ago. Comment down below if you think that it's okay to eat while next to a screen. I'll be letting the interviewers and the crew of Discovery 1 explain it all.
Discovery 1 left on its half-billion-mile voyage to Jupiter. This marked the first manned attempt to reach this distant planet. Earlier this afternoon, the World Tonight recorded an interview with the crew of Discovery at a distance of 80 million miles from Earth. It took 7 minutes for our words to reach the giant spacecraft, but this time delay has been edited from this recording. Our reporter, Marty Namer, speaks to the crew.
The crew of Discovery 1 consists of 5 men and one of the latest generation of the HAL 9000 computers. 3 of the 5 men were put aboard asleep, or to be more precise, in a state of hibernation. They were Dr. Charles Hunter, Dr. Jack Kimball, and Dr. Victor Kaminsky. We spoke with Mission Commander Dr. David Bowman and his deputy, Dr. Frank Poole. Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. How's everything going?
Marvelous. We have no complaints.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, and I'm sure that the entire world would join me in wishing you a safe and successful voyage.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Although hibernation has been used on previous space efforts, this is the first time that men have been put into hibernation before departure. Why was this done?
Well, this was done in order to achieve the maximum conservation of our life support capabilities, basically food and air. Now, the 3 hibernating crew members represent the survey team, and their efforts will be utilized until we're approaching Jupiter.
Dr. Poole, what's it like while you're in hibernation?
Well, it's exactly like being asleep. You have absolutely no sense of time. The only difference is that you don't dream.
As I understand it, you only breathe once a minute. Is this true?
Well, that's right. And the heart beats 3 times a minute. Body temperature is usually down to about 3 degrees centigrade.
The 6th member of the Discovery crew was not concerned about the problems of hibernation, for he was the latest result in machine intelligence, the HAL 9000 computer, which can reproduce, though some experts still prefer to use the word mimic, most of the activities of the human brain, and with incalculably greater speed and reliability. We next spoke with the HAL 9000 computer, whom we learned one addresses as HAL. Good afternoon, HAL. How's everything going?
Good afternoon, Mr. Amer. Everything is going extremely well.
HAL, you have an enormous responsibility on this mission. In many ways, perhaps the greatest responsibility of any single mission element. You're the brain and central nervous system of the ship, and your responsibilities include watching over the men in hibernation. Does this ever cause you any lack of confidence?
Let me put it this way, Mr. Amer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
HAL, despite your enormous intellect, are you ever frustrated by your dependence on people to carry out actions?
Not in the slightest bit. I enjoy working with people. I have a stimulating relationship with Dr. Poole and Dr. Bowman. My mission responsibilities range over the entire operation of the ship, so I am constantly occupied. I am putting myself to the fullest possible use, which is all I think that any conscious entity can ever hope to do.
Dr. Poole, what's it like living for the better part of a year in such close proximity with Hal?
Well, it's pretty close to what you said about him earlier. He is just like a sixth member of the crew. Very quickly get adjusted to the idea that he talks, and you think of him really just as another person.
In talking to the computer, one gets the sense that he is capable of emotional responses. For example, when I asked him about his abilities, I sensed a certain pride in his answer about his accuracy and perfection. Do you believe that Hal has genuine emotions?
Well, he acts like he has genuine emotions. Of course, he's programmed that way to make it easier for us to talk to him. But as to whether or not he has real feelings is something I don't think anyone can truthfully answer.
I love Hal because he's just got this like super silky satin voice. He was voiced by Douglas Rain, by the way, so kudos to him. It's Frank's birthday, so he gets a birthday transmission from his parents.
How do you like the cake, dear?
Looks great, doesn't it? Sorry you can't join us. Oh, I ran into Bob the other day. He said to be sure and wish you happy birthday.
All my students made me promise to send their best wishes, too. You know, they talk about you all the time in the classroom. Frank, you're a big celebrity in the second grade. You know, we were on television last week.
Oh, yes. Your mother and I and Dave's parents were interviewed about what we thought of our illustrious son.
It's a welcome bit of humanity in the movie, but the thing is, Frank has been away from Earth so long that he's showered with praise. He's a celebrity, but he hardly cares. He doesn't even really seem to care about his parents wishing him a happy birthday. Hal says there's something suspicious about the mission. This will turn out to be important later.
Some extremely odd things about this mission.
Mission control.
Hal says that a unit in the broadcasting antenna is broken, but when the data is sent back to mission control, another HAL 9000 computer says it's not broken. Hal assures them that he is perfectly fine and that it's due to human error.
You know, of course,
so Dave and Frank go into an area in which they think Hal won't be able to hear them.
Sounds a little like famous last words.
Yeah.
What the hell can we do?
Well, we wouldn't have too many alternatives.
I don't think we'd have any alternatives. There isn't a single aspect of ship operations that's not under his control. If he were proven to be malfunctioning, I wouldn't see how we'd have any choice but disconnection.
Well, as far as I know, no 9,000 computers have been disconnected.
Well, no 9,000 computers ever found out before.
That's not what I mean. Well, I'm not so sure. What do you think about it?
We then go into intermission, and then Dave goes out to do something, I don't know. Okay, so I know you were thinking, that was a great scene, and it was. I mean, just like the silence, because like, of course there's no sound in space, and so I appreciate that, and like, it's just really wonderfully done. We then get another chilling scene with Hal killing off all the astronauts in hibernation. Dave has gone out and taken Frank's body and wants to take it back to the Discovery 1.
Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me. And I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
So
Where
part
the hell
of
did
his
you get that
motivation
idea,
might be simply self-preservation, but I'll
Although
discuss the
you took
motivation
very
in
thorough
length later.
precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
All right, Hal. I'll go in through the emergency airlock.
Without your space helmet, Dave, you're going to find that rather difficult.
Okay, all wrapped there. Unfortunately, I did not have enough time to do the whole of the movie in part 2, so that is unfortunate. But, the cinematography is just beautiful. I love Hal. He's just got the greatest. He's just the greatest. Douglas Rain just voiced him with such a wonderful voice. And he's, I mean, I really give kudos to Stanley Kubrick. I mean, yeah, this is such a great movie. Such a great movie. Okay, part 3 will be coming soon. I don't know when. Okay, bye.